Hi, thank you for joining us today for our Reading and Literacy Instruction and Reading Specialist Programs Information Session here at Bay Path. My name is Jana O'Connell, and I'm a Director of Admissions here at Bay Path, as well as a recruiter for the Reading and Literacy Instruction and Reading Specialist Programs. I'm joined today by Janet Stratton, who is both the Program Director as well as the advisor for this program. Janet's going to give you a lot of great information about the science of reading, about the program itself, and then we'll be going over the admissions process with some frequently asked questions at the end. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Janet.
Thank you, Jenna, very much. And thank you all for joining us today and for your interest in Bay Path University's Reading and Literacy Instruction Program. Our program provides the science of reading to all educators, whether they're in the general education setting or specialized setting. Our program focuses on linking the science research to education. And we want you to know what to teach, why to teach it, and because why strengthens what you do. Next slide, please. What research tells us and what you'll learn in the program. So reading is one of the most studied aspects of human learning. The term science of reading represents the emerging consensus based on 50 years of studies conducted by cognitive psychologists, neuroscientists, and linguistics from across the world. Reading science strongly supports instruction that's explicit, systematic, cumulative, diagnostic, teacher-driven, and multimodal. This instruction is referred to evidence-based or structured literacy. The content of scientific evidence-based practices emphasizes the structure of the language, phonology, orthography, morphology, syntax, semantics, and the organization of spoken and written discourse. Next, please. Continuing what you'll learn in the program and what research tells us is that early instruction and phonemic awareness is critical. Vocabulary and background knowledge of text, as well as content-rich curriculum, are key to supporting the development of language and reading comprehension skills. This instruction not only helps students who struggle with reading, but there is substantial evidence that is more effective for all students. We know more today as to how children learn to read, causes of reading difficulties, and how to prevent them. But unfortunately, teacher preparation programs are not teaching the science of reading because faculty and administrators either don't know their science or they dismiss it. The good thing to remember is we have one brain, and we want the right reading instruction to be going in that brain and not the wrong instruction. Next, please. The National Council on Teacher Quality, NCTQ, does a lot of work in terms of examining teacher preparation. They look at undergraduate and graduate programs, and they found that they really struggle to teach teachers how to teach reading. The NCTQ data of late shows that only 20% of teacher preparation programs ensure that teachers learn scientific evidence-based methods of early reading instruction. So you can look online at the National Council on Teacher Quality to review their report findings. Next, please. So our program candidates will learn to use scientific evidence-based practices, whether it's in your curriculum, your instruction, and assessment. And it can be used, again, as I mentioned, in the general education setting, as well as the specialized setting for grades pre-K to 12. You're going to learn through experiences that are cognitive, neuroscientific, and educational research based on the science of reading. You'll be able to meet the needs of all students across all settings and content areas. You're going to learn content that is strong on the theoretical side and strong on the practical side. What our teachers love, what they learn in their classes, they can immediately apply to their teaching setting. You'll become a critical thinker who'll be able to analyze competing claims based on instructional practices, on research and evidence. You'll learn why we teach certain concepts and how to teach them. You'll be able to analyze curricula, and you'll be able to analyze research to determine if that research is valid or not valid. You'll be able to assess your students, diagnose them, and instruct them using evidence-based practices based on reading science. Next, please. The International Dyslexia Association accredited our programs for Accreditation Plus. We're one of 20 in the country that were acknowledged for adhering to the IDA knowledge and practice standards for teachers. So this is significant, and you can go online and just have to search out the International Dyslexia Association knowledge and practice standards, and you'll see the listing of the standards, and then you can see that our program content is based on the IDA standards. We can go to the next slide, please. We have two featured courses. One is the Orton Gillingham Associate Level Certified Training by the Orton Academy. There's a lot of trainings out there for Orton Gillingham, and a lot of them are watered down programs. This program is based on the guidelines from the Orton Gillingham Academy. Your instructor is a master fellow instructor from the Orton Gillingham Academy, and in order to become a fellow of the Orton Academy, our instructor spent a good 5 to 7 years in practice to become that. So that's who teaches you your training in Orton Gillingham. It's coursework and practicum. We have a course on literacy and the change process, and this is a really important course. You're going to learn how to develop a strategic literacy action plan for your school or a school district. And you'll have the knowledge in the program to be able to give recommendations and also to work with the school to develop that literacy action plan. The next slide, please. We have degrees, and we have a Massachusetts Reading Specialist license, and I'll take you through our degrees. First, we have a Master of Science in Education, an MSED. So if you don't have your master's, this is the track you'd be on. It's 39 credits. So there's two tracks, a licensure track and a non-licensure track. If you're out of state, you're going to be doing the non-licensure track. If you're in Massachusetts, you have the option of the licensure track. We have the Education Specialist degree, the EDS, and that's 39 credits. That's an advanced degree beyond your master's. So if you have your master's, you can do the EDS, and that will give you a degree of specialization, and in this case, it's literacy. There's a licensure track and a non-licensure track again. We also have partnered with our Education Leadership Doctoral Program. Those of you who finish your EDS successfully, you can go on and do your doctoral program with us at BayPath, and that program would be 36 credits. They'll accept your 39 credits for the EDS, and then you'll take the 36 credits for the doctoral program. So that's a very nice feature to have available to you. Massachusetts licensed teachers, we have a Massachusetts license approved through the Department of Ed. So within the degree program, your courses that you're taking for your degree also are toward your license. So you have that option. The difference between the non-licensure and licensure is really one course. It's a reading practicum. So those of you on the licensure track, in the final semester of your program, you would do the reading practicum, where the non-licensure students would take an elective in place of that reading practicum. But you're taking all the same courses, whether you do licensure or not. Next slide, please. Mentoring and program model. We're very strong in our mentoring. As program director and advisor, I work with the students throughout the program, and also the instructors are mentors to the students throughout the program as well. During the course, you have hands-on access to me, to your instructor, and even long after the course, you'll build relationship with these instructors, and they remain resources to you during the program and long after the program. So that's a very strong feature of our program. Our program is synchronous and asynchronous. We use Canvas as our learning platform. It's one of the better learning platforms out there. So we have synchronous requirement time. It's called Zoom real time, and you get the dates well in advance of each course, so you can plan for those evenings that you're going to be taking the test. They're usually 2 hours, Monday through Thursday. If you're taking one course, then it would be only one night. If you're taking 2 courses during a semester, it would be 2 nights of Zoom sessions. And that is a requirement to attend those Zooms, because that time is instruction by the instructor and application of what you're learning in the program. We have an asynchronous, and with that portion of the program, so we have both. What that means is that's the time that you're going to do your readings, your assignments. So that's on your own time. And when you do your assignments, you're uploading them to Canvas, and our instructors give you immediate feedback. So you're actually doing assignments and learning through those assignments. So it's a very powerful way we run the asynchronous time mixed with the synchronous time. So next slide, please. Out-of-state teachers. So BayPath offers the degree, but we don't endorse you, license you, or certify you. We can't do that because we're Massachusetts. We do licensure for our state, but not for other teachers in other states. So what you're going to do as an out-of-state teacher enrolled in the program, and if you're interested in any kind of certification in license, go back to your state and let them know what program you're doing, show them the courses, the syllabi, the course descriptions, and see if those courses would apply to your state requirement for licensure, endorsement, or certification. Those words are all used interchangeably in different states. So we can go to the next slide, please. This is an example of how our schedule looks. If you want to do the program in 2 years, you would take 2 courses per semester and finish in 2 years. If you decide to take 1 course during a semester, then it's going to just stretch your program out further. If you notice, we have summer courses, fall courses, and spring courses. They never, we never switch them over between semesters. So every time you see summer courses, they'll always be during that semester, same as fall and same as spring. So you can see how that looks, and that's a listing of our courses. And then I mentioned that if you're on the non-licensure track down here, you can see that little red print. That is just saying you're not going to do the practicum, you're going to do electives in place of the practicum. And if people are on the licensure track, they'll do the practicum. So that's all that means. So you can see and spend a little time looking at the titles of the courses. And, always reach out to me for further information with more description of the courses. And I also recommend, importantly, that a summer start is the best time to start the program. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds here to just read some testimonials. The best way to really learn about the program is from alum, and these are just some of what our grads have said about the program. So I'll give you some seconds here to read that. So I'm going to turn this over to Jenna O'Connell, who will explain to you admissions, enrollment, and here she is, Jenna.
Thanks, Janet. So as you can see, the enrollment periods for this program, we have 2 starts. We have a summer semester start and we have a fall semester start. As Janet mentioned, we do recommend you start in the summer, but we do have the 2 semester start. As far as the start dates, you can visit our website for the specific summer start date and fall start dates, or you can also reach out to admissions for the summer start or fall start dates, as well as any of the enrollment and admission deadlines. So the requirements for this program, you do need to have your at least an undergraduate degree from an accredited college university. We do look for a minimum GPA of 3.0 and a 4.0 scale. And to apply, you have a free application. It's at graduate.baypath.edu. That is a free online application. We also require all of your official transcripts. If you've done any graduate level work, please send in those transcripts as well. We also require a personal essay of 300 to 500 words, which is about a page, of how this program will help you meet both your personal and professional goals. We require a current resume, 2 professional or academic recommendations. So by professional, we mean a colleague or a supervisor. Academic could be a past professor that you've had. Just make sure that there are no familial recommendations or recommendations from friends. We also require what's called a signed program requirement form. This form basically goes over the requirements of the program, whether you're doing the 25 credits certificate or the 39 credit program. It goes over the requirements, what's needed of you, you sign and date that you read it. If you're going for licensure, so this is Massachusetts teachers only, not if you're going for non-licensure. If you're going for licensure, we also require additional documents, and that would be copies of your passing MTEL scores, which is your Massachusetts Test for Education Licensure scores, as well as a copy of your teaching license. You can get both of those from your ELAR account on DESE. You're welcome to take a screenshot and then, copy paste those and then send those to us as part of admissions. How to pay for school. The best way to find out about our services and financial aid is to reach out to our Student Financial Services Department. You'll notice in the bottom right-hand corner, I have their direct phone line as well as an email to email them directly. If you do call, I suggest you leave a name and number and the best time for you to reach you back. The tuition for this academic year is $555 per credit. There is no additional fees. We don't charge library fees or lab fees or registration fees. So it would be the number of credits in the program times the $555. Most of our students do qualify for up to $20,500 per academic year in unsubsidized direct loans. You apply for unsubsidized direct loans or any other financial aid through the free application from Federal Student Aid known as FAFSA. We have here the website as well as a school code that you would need to put in order for that information to be sent to you. We also have some other great things on our Student Financial Services website. There's an opportunity to make an appointment with a counselor from Student Financial Services if you have specific questions. There's also something known as Financial Aid TV, which has a lot of great short videos to answer various questions that people have about financial aid. We have something called FAFSA Fridays. Every Friday, you can sign up for a Zoom with live help for your FAFSA form. And there's also the first Wednesday of every month is Learn How to Pay for Grad School Online Information Sessions. So there's a very big wealth of information from our Student Financial Services on our website. So now I'm going to open it up to some frequently asked questions. I'm going to ask these questions to Janet so she can give you information that a lot of our students or applicants tend to ask. So hopefully we'll answer some questions you may still have lingering in your mind. So Janet, how are Bay Pass online classes set up? Are they synchronous or asynchronous?
So just to recap, they're synchronous and asynchronous. And as I mentioned, we provide the Zoom sessions well in advance so you can plan your schedule around the dates that are scheduled for the courses. So the synchronous time is the real Zoom time, and the asynchronous is when you'll do your assignments and your readings.
Great. Will I be able to juggle coursework and a full-time job?
The majority of the teachers in the program are full-time teachers, and they seem to manage the program with their coursework, work, and also a life. So they do that. Sometimes some of them choose 2 courses per semester or 1 course a semester, and that's how they determine, how their workload would be.
Okay, thank you. About how many hours, other than the online Zooms, should I schedule aside for each course that I'm taking per week?
We like to say 12 hours, and it really depends on you as how fast you read through your reading assignments and do your assignments. So just, if you think 12 hours per course, and then you might be surprised it might take you less than that, or another course that it might take you a little more. So if that's kind of a ballpark, hours, 12.
Okay, thank you. How accessible are the faculty here at Bay Path?
So as I mentioned earlier, that the faculty are very available. It's just part of the importance of the program. Our instructors are very important, and also the content and their availability. So teachers who teach are really committed. Our instructors are very committed to this program. We're one of very few in the country teaching this content, and they have a very high background or very qualified in literacy to be able to teach the courses. So I'm very careful. Our program's growing, so I'm adding sections of the courses and adding faculty. And it's not very easy to find really qualified teachers to teach these courses, because they have to be very strong in literacy. So you're getting qualified, great content, and availability, and you can't get better than that in terms of a program.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bay Path offer MTEL, Massachusetts Teacher Education Licensure Prep for the Reading Specialist Licensure.
So for Massachusetts teachers on the licensure track, we do have they call it MTEL, Reading Specialist License Prep, 2 days, which happens in the second year of the program. In the summer, there'll be 2 days. One of our instructors will meet with you and just to review the program. And it's really optional to attend, but we highly recommend. And then there's a reading specialist MTEL test that you take. So you take that after your preparation training.
Thank you. Can I complete my practicum where I work?
Yes, we want you to do your practicum within your teaching setting. So you don't leave to do your practicum. You're right there. If you're a first grade teacher, fifth grade teacher, whether you're in SPED, you can do it within your teaching setting. It works seamlessly, and that's how we want you. Actually, the Department of Ed requires that your practicum is done in a Massachusetts public school or a Massachusetts DESE, that's our Department of Ed, approved private school, which is a SPED school, private school.
Thank you. And what is the main difference between the non-licensure and licensure track programs?
So it's the same amount of credits, so that's the same. The only difference would be one course. And as I mentioned when I was showing you the schedule, non-licensure teachers would take an elective to make up for the 4 credits, and the students on their licensure track would do the reading practicum for 4 credits. So it's non-licensure has to do the 4 credits, and again, reading specialist does the 4 credits, but they're just taking 2 different courses.
Great. And lastly, if I did this program for non-licensure, am I able to come back and do the practicum to complete the licensure requirement?
Because the information is fresh in your mind, we would want you to come back within a year and not any longer than that. So for example, if you started in graduated in 2024, you'd come back in 2025 to do the reading practicum. All great questions.
Okay, great, thank you. So that's the end of our questions. So here's the contact information for both Janet and myself. If you've decided that you're ready to apply or you're already in the admissions process and you have any specific questions about admissions, please feel free to reach out to me. If you have some further questions or some clarification based on some other questions dealing with programming or class delivery or the curriculum itself, please feel free to reach out to Janet. Her information is here as well. Thank you again for joining us today. We hope you learned a lot more about your program and that we answered most of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you.